One. Okay, I think we're live now. Good morning, everyone. We've got a really busy agenda today. A lot of good things on the agenda, lots of things that we've been doing over the last few months to get to this cabinet today. Without further ado, I'll move on to that. I don't know whether we have any apologies for absence. Perhaps we have Faith. Can we agree the minutes of the meeting?
Agreed.
Fine, thank you.
Agreed.
I've no further items and no items to add to the agenda on the grounds of urgency. And can I bring your attention to the members' declaration of interest? Anyone has anything that they need to declare?
Yes, Chair, I need to declare in relation to item 20, public rented homes. WDH number of times in the report, and I am a board member of WDH.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Jackie. That's fine. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, thank you. So we go on to the key decisions. The first item is the business rates pool item. As you know, we've had in the past successful business rates pooling arrangements, and now we're looking at bringing a new one in where I will sit on the board. The recommendations are set out in page 2.1, item 2.1. Is everybody happy with that? It will bring in a lot of benefit to us. Are we all happy with that one? Thank you. And then the next item is item 7 is the contract extension provision of children's public health services. It's Faith and Margaret who are doing this. So Margaret, are you taking this?
Yes, I am, Denise. Do you want me to put video on?
Yes, fine, whatever. Yeah,
that's fine. Yes. This report seeks approval for contract extension for the provision of the 0 to 19 Children's Public Health Service, which includes health visiting, school nursing and family nurse partnerships, for up to 6 months. The current contract expires on the 31st of March 2022 with no further option to extend. This report recommends extending the contract with the current provider, Bradford District Foundation Care Trust, potentially up to September 2022 to allow a thorough engagement and consultation process. I would just like to point out agenda page 22 that how successful the BDCFT have been in the past few years, and I would ask Cabinet to support the recommendations as highlighted. Thank you.
We can't hear you, Denise. There's a problem with the sound, I think.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, that's working now, Denise.
Great, thank you. Thank you very much. Margaret, do you want to continue? Sorry, sorry, I've lost my track. Yeah, can we agree that paper? Okay, thank you. And then the transformation of the residential children's homes, Margaret. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, sorry, Denise. It's not you, it's me.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yes, this paper is to change our remaining 4-bedded units, Dake and Benson, to smaller 2-bedded units. We're not proposing to change the number of beds available, so we will have 4x2 beddomes instead of the current 2x4 beddomes. This will be in addition to the existing 2x2 beddomes that we already have, Cottoncroft and Regent Street, which have proved extremely successful. So we will in effect be retaining 12 local beds for non-disabled children. The reason we're doing this is because our existing 2-bedded units produce much better outcomes for very complex children, no placement disruptions in the 18 months they have been operational. When some of the children that have been put there have had up to 8 placement changes the year before they moved there. All the children are attending schools consistently, education outcomes are better, there's less antisocial offending behaviours, fewer missing episodes and better emotional behavioural presentation for the children. Our review of the care population and broader sufficiency work, creation of Mockingbird, additional foster placements locally, broader range of supported care leaver accommodation, gives us a range of accommodation options for children who might previously have lived in the larger units. This means that we need to refocus our local residential homes on those children with the most complex emotional needs who are not as well provided for nationally or locally. The smaller units largely cause placement disruption and therefore vacancies have been avoided and more cost-effective, producing a lower unit cost per child. In addition, use of the new 2-bedded homes to provide care for children with generally because of significant trauma, emotional well-being issues, need a deprivation of their liberty. This home is planned to be at the Croft in Badsworth, with an increased staffing arrangement and specific skills requirement. Though this unit will have a higher running cost, we are not asking for additional revenue budget to support it, as we believe the joint venture with the CCG will account for any additional cost. We are doing this because we have a small but consistent number of children who demonstrate extreme behaviours generally presenting a risk to themselves and arising from trauma. These young people are not well provided for nationally or locally, given limitations on the use of Tier 4 mental health beds, secure accommodation beds. Excuse me. The lack of specific care provision for these young people often leads to the use of unregulated provision, which is not ideal, particularly for this most vulnerable group who need the most specialist care. We are also creating full-time care places for children with disabilities by changing the purpose and function of one of our current shore breaks units. We are doing this. Our review of the care population tells us that we have a small but significant group who need full-time care. Currently, those young people are accommodated in short break units, which is not the right environment for them and gives them a disrupted experience of care. We're going to relocate one of our homes for children with disabilities to a more appropriate building, perhaps repurposing one of the existing larger children's homes, which will be vacated as a result of the broader programme of work. The existing York Villas building is ill-suited to the purpose and is a significant state of disrepair, requiring significant expenditure. By moving this service to one of the purpose-built buildings, it will provide a more suitable environment for staff and children, as well as providing a sustainable means of delivery, providing opportunities to design the service in ways which are more bespoke to the needs of our children. I feel that this paper coming forward benefits the children of the district, and as a service we feel it will be much better and more cost effective doing it this way, although cost isn't the important thing here. The important thing is that we're providing a much better service for our young people, and so I move the report.
Thank you for that, Margaret. I think we have some comments here. Jack.
Thank you, Leader. Yeah, I fully support this report, Margaret. I think it's good to see that in Wakefield, on the improvement journey that we're on with Children's Services, that we're continuing to embrace good practice and new ideas. And I think given this more I think it's probably on a more family model. Having two young people to a house instead of a larger children's home is a much better way of doing things. You've got the evidence there that it's going to improve outcomes for our children. I think it's something that's really to be welcomed, and I'm glad that we're embracing this good practice.
Thank you, Jack. It has proved much better actually. The having the 2-bedded units, and that's why we're keen to follow up on that.
Oh, hi, Jackie, you want to make a comment?
Yeah, it was much the same as Jack, really. I really welcome the report. I think we all know how important the environment is on the upbringing of any child. And so I think anything that more resembles a home environment has got to work. And I think it's the right way forward. I approve it entirely.
Yeah, I think we all agree that children are much better in a family unit where we can possibly do that. And I think this is an exceptional report moving forward. So can we all agree the report? Thank you. The next item is the roof repairs for Sandal Magna. I'll bring Margaret in a minute to take you through the report. But yes, we have a duty to look after children in our district and provide the best quality schools that we can, but we also have a duty to the public for public money. So I'm asking for an inquiry into what's happened with the funding, so that we are accountable. We are accountable to the public. It's their money, and we need to have a report as to what's happened. And I shall be bringing this to council at the earliest opportunity. Come in. I know I say we haven't done item 8. We will come back to that.
Do you want me to come in now, Denise?
Yes, come in on item 10 and we'll go back to 8.
Okay. Yep, thank you. This obviously is a long-standing issue. The council is being proactive in addressing a long-standing issue experienced by the school, which in the past has led to significant disruption for staff and students, their well-being and education. During the replacement work of the roof, the contractor helped us to uncover serious, significant and additional failings which, if left unaddressed, could have led to a potentially dangerous situation in the longer term and further expensive remedial work. Upon being notified about the full extent of the issues, we have acted responsibly to remedy the situation. At every stage, the safety and welfare of the pupils and staff have been paramount. We accept that there have been additional and significant costs to fully understand the issues so that we can take informed action to address the fundamental flaws of the design and construction of the building. We have worked with the constructor to come to a solution as quickly as possible in the context of the wide-ranging surveys required and due to the extent of the issues uncovered. Whilst the constructor is contractually entitled to claim for losses incurred as a result of the delay in the work, the council is continuing to actively negotiate with them to reduce the costs and amounts actually claimed. The council has stepped in to help the school and children. Where fundamental flaws in building design and construction have led to a continued loss of education or a closed building no longer fit for purpose. We are seeking legal advice to attempt to recoup the costs associated with our decisive action to ensure the building is made safe and fit for purpose. Our focus has and must always be to ensure that our children are taught in a safe environment, and that is why this paper is being brought here. These children and the staff of that school have suffered for years from school closures and disruption, and I'm calling on Cabinet members to approve the recommendation 1 so that we can move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret. Any comments? Jackie?
Yes, just to say, I realise this is a very difficult issue, and the leader has explained that steps will be taken to look at some of the issues surrounding it. But I do want to say that that it's really important that we as a council support our children, as Margaret has outlined, because any disruption to children's education, the cost of that is incalculable, and I do feel that we had little alternative but to take this action to make sure that those children are safe and are educated as they should be.
Thank you, Jackie. Matthew.
Thank you, Leader. Yes, I'm happy to approve the report in conjunction with the statement you just made about the inquiry, Leader. Obviously, I think we've all had local residents contacting us as wanting to know what's gone off there, so I welcome the comments you made, and I think that will go a long way with local residents, so I thank you for that comment.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, can we agree the report? Thank you very much. We'll go back to item 8, Margaret. Sorry we missed that one.
Thank you, Leader. Yeah, this is the holiday activity and food fund that if you look at agenda page 40, items 4.3, paragraphs 4344, it's noted that school holidays are a particular pressure point for some families because of increased food and childcare costs, and evidence suggests that children from disadvantaged families are less likely to access organised activities and more likely to experience unhealthy holidays. The DFE have awarded grant funding to a maximum of £1,275,570 to Wakefield Council, and the purpose of the grant is for local authorities to make free places at holiday clubs available in the Easter, summer and Christmas holidays in 2021. Plans are already in place to do this, and we all agree, as I know, that we must do what we can for the most disadvantaged in our district. So I'm asking Cabinet to approve option 1, which is to accept the grant funding allocation for Wakefield Council. Thank you.
Thanks, Margaret. I think that's really good news. Any comments from anyone? Maureen.
Yeah, I welcome this. I welcome this initiative. We do need to look after our children during the holidays. This is a superb initiative. It builds on the initiative that we had last year to keep children during the holidays not just fed but entertained as well. And I think this is an excellent initiative. I think it's being delivered across the council. I think the library services are helping out with this and the hubs are helping out with this. So I welcome this initiative. Thank you, Margaret.
Okay, are we all happy to agree the report? Thank you very much. Item 11 is the Ash-Dieback disease. Jack.
Thank you, Leader. Yeah, so colleagues will likely be aware of the disease known as ash-dieback, which is an affliction unique to ash trees. It's a very deadly condition and is tragically going to result in the loss of around 90% of English ash trees as it moves through our forests. Sadly, the disease has no known cure and will eventually result in the near extinction of the ash tree unless native trees can mutate or develop a natural response. It's also going to result in the loss of many thousands of mature trees within our district and would set back our tree planting efforts if we left it unchecked. It's essential, therefore, that we have a strategy to deal with ash-dieback, and as if the diseased trees are not removed, they can become weakened and fall, and presenting a serious safety risk to the public as well. And we wouldn't want to miss our white rose forest planting targets too. Recent inspections have shown that as many as 50% of the district's ash trees now have early signs of ash-dieback disease. So it's important that we take action in the coming months to address this before the problem becomes more widespread. If this report is approved, the additional staff and strategy needed to respond to ash-dieback will be put in place within 6 months, and we believe that will be in time to deal with the disease before it becomes much more of a risk and before many trees start to die and wither away from this. So the recommendations and options appraisal for this action are set out at page 73 and 75. And I'd ask that colleagues support option 1 so we can ensure that we have a proper strategy in place to respond to ash dieback disease.
Okay, thank you for that, Jack. I see that Michael has a comment.
Thanks, Leader. Yeah, it's just to say that I really welcome this report. I think on the surface, it looks like a lot of money. And when you read into it and look at what this disease is going to do to the country, it's estimated it's going to cost the whole country £15 billion. So it's absolutely huge amount of money. And I think it's the right time now to make this decision and to invest this money in tackling this problem. From what I've seen, there's sort of no solution to it, like Jack said. I think you're either resistant as a tree or you're not. So it's an absolute shame that we are going to lose them. And to be honest, not to bore everyone, but I was reading about it. It actually can carry in the wind for miles and miles and miles. So it's not even like you can cut all the trees down and solve the problem. It can come back again and again. So real devastating news. It really is. But I think we've got a really good strategy here that can tackle it and really help Jack and all the team to continue with the excellent tree planting scheme we've got going. So thanks, Jack, for bringing it.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. And it is going to be a terrible disease. It's a shame that we probably won't have ash trees in English forests for much longer, but we can ensure that with the replanting programme and the tree planting we did recently down at Thornsmoor in Wakefield West, that we are making a difference and we will replace those trees and still have vibrant forests in our communities. So thank you for your support, Michael.
Okay, thank you for that, Jack. Can we agree the report if there are no further comments? Okay, thank you. The next item is the Thorns Park Stadium. Jackie.
Thank you, Leader. Yes, the purpose of this report is to inform Cabinet of the findings of the public consultation exercise and the leisure activity feasibility study, which was undertaken to the replacement of the stadium, and also to present options on the proposed facility mix and to seek approval to commence design of the replacement stadium, which will be brought back to a future Cabinet meeting for a final decision. Members will recollect that on the 15th of September 2020, Cabinet approved, in principle, building a replacement facility at Thorns and authorised public consultation and development options to present back to Cabinet, as we're doing now. Cabinet also approved remedial works to enable a partial reopening, and these will shortly be complete. The public consultation took place between the 26th of October and 22nd of November with a wide range of stakeholders, and in fact we got 937 responses, which was an excellent feedback. And overall, the large majority, 73%, agreed with the proposal to rebuild a replacement stadium. Independent consultants were appointed to undertake an assessment of need and feasibility for what activities should be included as part of that replacement facility. And that study commenced on the 15th of November and was completed in January. So what we're recommending today is option 1, to progress design of a replacement stadium in line with recommendations 1 to 18, which is the enhanced offer. This will enable the council to deliver a stadium flexible enough to meet the needs of residents and maintain and improve their health and well-being for many years to come. It provides additional facilities that assist in supporting the ongoing sustainability of the facility and are as a direct response to feedback from the public consultation and feasibility study. For instance, we took on board feedback about the resiting of the 3G pitch, which was originally sited within the oval, but this is now to be determined elsewhere, and the costing of options for both a 6 and 8 line track are being considered, because again, feedback from the consultation indicated a preference for an 8 lane track. Feedback also shows support for a play area. At which point I wish to make you aware that since the Cabinet report was prepared, there have been further discussions, and I wish to make it clear that the financial commitment provisionally given for the refurbishment of the existing play area still stands. However, following the consultation feedback, it is suggested that a separate play area with adjacency to the stadium is explored, with design and costings presented to a future cabinet for final decision. So with that, I recommend that we approve the recommendations listed, but to note a change to recommendation 4, which is to agree the design and incorporation of a separate outdoor play area adjacent to the development. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for that, Jackie, and I'm glad you've pointed out about the existing play area, because as you know, the council put £1 million into Thorns to deliver on 3 things. One was to refurbish the existing play area adjacent to the little train, actually dredge the lake and refurbish the amphitheatre. And I wouldn't want that to get swept up in later plans. These things must go ahead as a matter of urgency, because we have promised the community groups and the local members that this will happen, and I'd like your reassurance that that will be happening.
Yes, we accept that.
Michael, you want to make a comment?
Thanks, Leader. And I want to say a massive thank you to Jackie for bringing this report. As everyone can imagine, I'm absolutely delighted, ecstatic that this is coming forward. I think a special thanks to all of the officers within the council for the consultation exercise. I think nearly 950 respondents is absolutely brilliant, and it just goes to show what this stadium and what the wider park means to the people of Wakefield. That they all are feeding into this and giving us our thoughts, and even those who don't necessarily use the park very often are feeding in to tell us what they want to see in Thorns Park Stadium for future use. So it's just absolutely excellent, and I think it's a really good piece of consultation work. I also like to say thank you to everyone who has actually responded to the questionnaires and given us their thoughts. I think what I want to make really clear to everyone is that Councillor Spate, the wider council team, and ourselves, we are listening to people. We want to know exactly what you think, and we're not just, we're not paying lip service. We are listening to every single thing you say, and we are responding to it, and we are feeding back, and we want the absolutely best stadium that is possible. So thank you so much to Jackie for the news about the play area. I think that's an absolutely fantastic addition to the outside if that goes through. And I just can't wait to see this go forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. We are very excited and we're delighted at the response rate. And I think it's clear that we have taken into account the views of consultees and made changes accordingly.
Okay, thanks for that, Jackie. Fabulous report. Can we agree that? I think you're all happy with that. Thank you very much. And then, Jackie, the tourist recovery plan.
Yeah, the aim of this report is to seek approval for the establishment of a tourism recovery plan for the recovery and promotion of the district's tourism sector post-pandemic. It includes the approval of the allocation of £78,000 from West Yorkshire Business Rates Pool to support the delivery of the tourism recovery plan. There has been engagement on this project, and the tourism recovery plan has been informed by recent findings by QA research into the tourism sector, mapping and the impact of COVID. It's also been informed through engagement with the Places Board and the Recovery Board, including the Economic Recovery Workstream. So with that, I've just had to recommend that Cabinet approve the draft Tourism Recovery Plan and the longer-term approach to developing a destination management plan for the district and allocate funding to the delivery of the Tourism Recovery Plan, and that Cabinet approves the establishment of grant schemes to support local tourism business and delegates authority to the Service Director, Arts, Culture and Leisure, in consultation with the Cabinet member for Sports, Culture and Leisure, to approve grants awards up to £30,000. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Jackie. I think we made a good decision here when we set about with this new programme, and I think people will really benefit from what we're doing here. Are there any comments? Margaret, you have a comment.
Yes, thank you, Leader. I welcome this bit. I've long thought that we don't sell ourselves as a district. I mean, you mentioned the Epworth, the Sculpture Park. But we have so much history in Wakefield district, going all across the district, and we've just never seemed to sell ourselves to people out there, and to become a destination. That should be an ambition that we have. So I certainly welcome this report. Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you.
Okay, can we, another great report here, Jackie. Can we all agree that? Thank you very much. And while you're on the roll, do you want to go on with the Cultural Development Fund?
Yes, please. This report seeks to update Cabinet on the progress of the Cultural Development Fund. You'll recollect that in 2019, Wakefield was successful in securing a 4.38 million from the DCMS Cultural Development Fund. It was the largest of 5 national awards, so we were really pleased to get this. Initially, it was a 3-year programme, but due to COVID, it's been extended now until the 31st of March 2023. And then in last November, we received a further 1.2 million from the DCMS Capital Kickstart Programme, part of the COVID-19 response funding. So in total, we're talking about 5.58 million direct investment into the district. So it's really, really good news. And the programme itself is built around 4 themes. And it's the business and support sectors. And that's about initiatives such as the Creative Wakefield Advanced Programme, which we launched in September. And locally, the sector we found has been dominated by micro businesses. And so the Advanced Programme provides specific tools to help those types of business, for instance, focusing on mentoring, accelerated growth and investment. And we've also got the Creative Wakefield Network, which has been established out of all of that. The second theme is creative and digital skills development. The programme focuses on addressing issues of low skill levels across the district. So it will connect skills providers and businesses to establish best career pathways leading to increased skills and long-term employment opportunities for local residents, which is really good news for us. The third theme is showcasing and supporting our local talent. The Creative Challenge, we launched that in 2019 during the pandemic, launched in 2019, and it was a flagship commissioning programme directly supporting the sector. And so far, we've had 62 projects in the Wakefield district, engaging with large audiences through major events and virtually during the pandemic. Then finally, the creative business and innovation space. This is the proposed repurposing of the former market hall in Wakefield to provide a vibrant and creative social space for residents and businesses. It will also support the wider health of the city centre, acting as a catalyst for further creative and digital industries growth, connecting, for instance, the Rutland Mills development. A planning application has been submitted for the Market Hall, and it's hoped that the construction works will start at the end of this year, ahead of the site reopening in autumn 2020. The CDF programme it also supports the development of a research development centre named Explore. This is based at Langthwaite Business Park in South Kirby, and it will build on the existing creative clusters that we have there, offering state-of-the-art facilities to drive innovation and a support programme for SMEs. An adjacent managed workspace development will support Explore, providing space currently in short supply and opportunities for new business and spin-outs. The managed workspace is expected to be completed late this year, and I hope that you will see that this report brings with it a lot of developments in terms of business growth and skills. And with that, I would ask that you support the recommendations at 3.1 to 3.3.
Okay, for that, Jackie. Any comments? Okay, can we agree the report? Thank you. Right, the next item is the Highways Capital Programme. Matthew, you got some good news for us?
Yes, Leader, I've got some good news and some bad news on this report. So, yeah, I'm pleased to present the 21-22 Highways Annual Capital Programme for the Wakefield District. The Council's Highways network, I will say, is the most used asset we have as a local authority. Every resident and every visitor to our district use it, whether it be for work, recreation or leisure. And I think we all know in Cabinet how much of an interest and how important it is to local residents from the amount of casework we receive regarding highways. I'm proud to say 2 years ago as a council we committed an additional £15 million over a 5-year period to improve our highways. That almost matches the allocation that we get from the Department of Transport, bringing the total we normally spend on the capital side of improvements to £8 million a year. You will see from Appendix B that the plan works on our district highways across roads, footpaths, public rights of way, street lighting, bridges and structures, drainage issues, traffic regulation orders across all 21 wards. As I'm sure you'll expect, a report of this size doesn't come together overnight. It takes many months to take into consideration requests from elected members, members of the public and our own highways inspectors. Normally, we know what the allocation of funding we will get from the Department of Transport is going to be around about December of each year. Unfortunately, last year we just kept getting messages that the announcement had been delayed. Colleagues, I'm sure you was all shocked as I was to find out in February that the government had cut highway spending in this country by nearly 400 million. That's a 22% reduction to Wakefield, meaning £1.5 million less we'll have to spend on the district highways. It's been well documented for many years now, the crisis in the country's crumbling roads, that this government has never really taken seriously. Local councils up and down the country have done the same as us and provided additional monies for highways improvements, desperately trying to improve the condition of the network. And how do the Conservatives acknowledge this additional support council are giving? Cut funding. Personally, I think it's absolutely a disgrace. Colleagues, can I reassure you and local residents, we will deliver on this programme of improvements one way or another. Myself and the leader have held meetings with the Chief Executive and Chief Finance Officer, and additional resources will be found within this council, if needs be. We know how important the district highways are, even if this government don't. So with that in mind, can I move the report and accept the recommendations in 11.1? Thank you, Leader.
Thank you for that, Matthew. Anyone want to comment? Jackie?
Yeah, can I just say, Leader and Matthew, that I welcome this report. It represents a huge investment in our local highways, despite the fact that the government wishes to cut funding the way it has. And to say a big thank you to yourself and all your team that have pulled together the information on this. I know it's not easy trying to establish priorities when the money has to go a long way. So thank you very much for it indeed. It is much needed, and I think all wards appreciate it.
Thank you for that, Jackie.
Michael?
Thanks, Leader, and thanks, Matthew. Just to echo Jackie's comment, I think you've absolutely hit the nail on the head, Matthew, when you say we as a council are putting money into this. It's obviously a priority for people to have good, decent roads and to have potholes sorted. And as we're ploughing money into it and meeting the demand, we have the government cutting it from the other side. It literally, like, they don't want us to succeed. They're absolutely hamstringing us. So thank you so much for addressing that. I think you're absolutely spot on with your comments. I'd just like to also thank council officers and yourself for the interaction, the consultation with local members and with the public. I know I asked my area and the people within it what they thought, what their priorities were, what roads they want to see resurfaced, and it went down, absolutely great. People love to be listened to. They want to tell you what their priorities are. They want things done that matter to them. So to give them that opportunity and then to see that stuff actually in the capital programme and it's going to be completed this year is brilliant news. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. It was quite interesting when we matched up what local members sent in to what the priorities were, and they did really match up with what the forthcoming structure was going to be that we was going to amend as an highways authority. So one last comment I'll make on this, and I've said it before, Leader, and I'll say it again. This time last year, as we presented this report, we went into lockdown. So we could have been sat here and no work could have been completed at all. But our team in highways, our staff, our people on the ground have been out there this last 12 months delivering on last year's programme. And we'll do the same this year with restrictions in place and everything. We will continue improving the district's highways. There is some positives in here from a local council. I'm just absolutely flabbergasted that the government aren't supporting local authorities.
Yeah, so obviously it's typical of this government. to give with one hand and take away with another. They talk about levelling up, but what matters to the people of this district very much is highways and potholes. And we've seen through the bad weather, potholes appearing all across the district, and people really want to see something done. So I'm so glad, Matthew, that you and your team, and I congratulate them because they've worked through a pandemic to deliver this programme. And it's truly amazing that the work that has been delivered, and we will deliver for the people of this district, there's no doubt about it. So can I move that report if there's no more comments? Thank you, that's fine. We agree that. And then the next item is Darren, the pumping station at Reed Parklands. Can I say, I feel as if I've lived this scheme with you, Darren, for 2 years now. So it's great to see it here today. So over to you.
Thank you for that, Denise, but I think you might find that it's Matthew's report.
I'm so mixed up because we have lived that. You and I have been down to Reed Park so many times. Sorry, Matthew.
Yes, quite simple. Obviously, the asset down there of the pumping station never belonged to the councils. But when we had the terrible storms back at the back end of 2019, and after the pumping station being there many years, it did start to fail. Unfortunately, as we all know, back in January, February, while I was looking to improve in the scheme, the storms came back again. I'm pleased to say now that the pumping station is fully operational. Local residents down there can be rest assured that it will be supporting them, and it will do all what it needs to do to take surface water away from the local area. And it is rightly now that we do take this on board to support local residents with flooding issues down there. We are still in negotiations with Yorkshire Water, and I'm sure they will be coming on board as well to take their responsibility with it as well. So with that, I'm quite happy to remove the report and the recommendations.
Yeah, Darren, I'll bring you in now.
Thank you, Leader. Thank you, Councillor Morley. Matthew, it's wonderful that this report has got as far as it has, and it just proves what the Leader and Councillor Graham said earlier, that as a council we're listening, and people down at Reed Park told us that there was an issue. The issue has had devastating effects on some of the people down there, and some of the residents down there who have become very good friends of mine over the last 12 months are still living the trauma that those pumps caused during the storms. So again, thank you to everybody involved in the council, especially the flood alleviation team who have worked tirelessly, often behind the scenes and often not being appreciated by many, including myself at times. So thank you very much indeed for that, and I so welcome this report.
Yeah, thank you for your comments, Darren. I will pass them on to everybody in the team. It just goes to show, though, how susceptible we are to surface water flooding as a district over the last many years now. We put strategies in place to reduce flooding right across the district, but it just goes to show there's always more work to do, and we'll continue doing that work. We will always continue. So thank you for your comments.
Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, it's really great news, and I'm sure that the residents of Reed Park will be much more relaxed now that we've taken on this pumping station. So thanks very much for that, Matthew. Can we agree the report? Thank you. Right, Darren, it is your report now. The Civic Quarter.
Thank you, Leader. Our district is blessed with many fine towns and villages, from Ackworth all the way through to Woolley, and significant number of places in between. The Wakefield Civic Quarter is the economic and cultural heart of Wakefield City Centre, and its regeneration will help transform the city and the district's image by restoring and transforming civic buildings and encouraging the creation of a high-quality new development and employment opportunities. The purpose of this report is to update Cabinet on the progress made bringing forward key development opportunities within the Civic Quarter, including the expected submission of planning applications in respect of the key development sites later this year, and to gain approval to complete the disposal of the associated sites to the preferred bidder, Rushbond plc. The plan involves converting and bringing back into use the most historic part of Wakefield city centre into a place where people can live, visit, socialise and ultimately enjoy. A series of development principles are set out in the report, from diverse homes to provide a variety of intergenerational accommodation, biodiverse and landscaped places, community spaces for those who live and visit there, with the concept of a community hall being created right in the heart of that civic quarter. It's also about putting people first onto the streets and enhancing connections between the wider locality and bringing walking and cycling back into the heart of the city. This will create healthier lifestyles, make people's lives more creative and support the wider Creative City programme. But it will also put our heritage first by repurposing key and existing heritage buildings and assets into a new future. And we will do all this in a smart layout type of way, adopting new technology to help with making them more usable and security of the buildings and homes. So with that, it gives me great pleasure to ask that the recommendation be accepted on page 229 at 12.1.
Thank you for that, Darren. Really, really great news. Again, things are moving forward despite COVID. Anyone want to comment? Or are we all happy to agree? Oh, Margaret, you've got a comment.
Yes, thank you, Leader. It's good to see that some things are moving forward, especially with the Crown Court building. I mean, that it is a truly beautiful and historic building, that, and it'll be good to see it actually brought back into use locally. And I'm sure that this development and regeneration is going to help businesses in that area as well. So I'll support this. Thank you.
Thanks for that. Can we agree the report? Thank you, Darren. The next item then is the business support and inward investment. Thank
you again, Leader. So the purpose of this report is to present a summary of the business support and inward investment strategy for 2021 to 2024. And the full report is actually in your Cabinet pack. And it's also to seek Cabinet approval for the business support and inward investment strategy, again for 2021 to 2024. The strategy responds to the changing business needs, setting the direction of support for businesses and stimulating investment across our whole district over the next 3 years. Alongside the employment and skills strategy, Wakefield, a learning city and district, and the tourism recovery plan, this will enable the council and partners to carry out vital work to secure the district's economic recovery, aligned with the objectives of our place and improving opportunities for our people, creating jobs, upskilling and the overall prosperity of the whole district. So with that, it gives me great pleasure again to recommend option 1, shown at 7.1 on page 328.
Thank you for that, Darren. Any comments? Can we agree with the paper? Thank you very much. And then the Pontefract Master Plan.
Thank you again. As I mentioned earlier, the district is blessed with many fine towns and Pontefract is one of them. Pontefract is a unique place both within Wakefield district and the wider region, a historic market town. It mixes heritage assets such as the castle, the marketplace, the racecourse with its successful retail environment that, before COVID, was bucking the national trend by maintaining very low void rates and also providing a home for many, many independent, successful businesses that offered residents an alternative to the national larger and international chains, a very successful shopping centre indeed. So the purpose of this report is to seek the adoption of the new Pontefract Master Plan by Cabinet. The Master Plan addresses 8 intervention areas which the report details. These areas surround the town centre. It reimagines these areas to promote the town centre, for town centre living, green infrastructure and active travel. Between and through them, and in order to reconnect the town centre with its surrounding assets. For example, it creates a way to get from the castle to the racecourse, simple, unobstructed and green, as well as creating residential areas to help the town realise its full potential. So the recommendation is that Cabinet approves the new Pontefract Master Plan and embeds the design code, noting that both the material considerations when dealing with planning applications. The action plan identifies the need to review a number of issues that have prevented the town centre from meeting its potential. Local assets like the castle and the racecourse need to be protected, need to be built on, and need to be ensured that they are part of the success of this unique heritage town. So therefore, again, it gives me pleasure then to recommend the approval of option 1 in 7.1 on page 386.
Any comment? Jackie?
Yeah, thank you, Leader. Darren, I think this is a really good report, and it's great for Pontefract to have its own master plan. Pontefract's a fabulous town, and it's got a really rich heritage, and I